Welcome to the TCU Innovates podcast.
For over 150 years, Texas Christian University has been at the forefront of innovation, and we're just getting started.
I'm TCU Chancellor Victor Bashini.
And I'm TCU President Daniel Pullin.
We are your hosts of TCU Innovates.
We highlight the latest stories of innovation and thought leadership across our community.
Dream big, be bold,
and lead on, Horned Frogs. Hey everybody, this is TCU President Daniel Pullin, and welcome to another edition of TCU Innovates. Thanks for joining us. We've got a great subject matter expert here today in the form of our Provost and Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, Dr. Floyd Wormley. Welcome, Dr. Wormley.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're really excited. I know that, and many of us on campus know so much about the pivotal role you've played to advance TCU's academic and research initiatives over a number of years, having recently been promoted to the role of Provost. You've been here since 2019, and during your time, amongst many accomplishments, I know you've worked really hard to increase the external research funding for the institution. You've invested deeply in improving and enhancing and scaling the graduate student experience, and certainly adding additional infrastructure to support our world-class faculty and graduate and undergraduate students in their efforts. You were appointed Provost and Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs in 2025 at the beginning of the year, and you are already off and running, championing scholarly excellence, innovation across the campus and in the community. I can't wait to learn more about what you have in store for us as we look ahead. We'll get into your background here in a second, but I think you joined us from University of Texas, San Antonio. You've been awarded a number of prestigious fellowships, participated as a Fulbright Scholar, and you've worked really well across a variety of disciplines. So we're excited about having you and to learn more about the impact you've already made here, but most importantly, what you intend to do as we make this great place even greater. So let's get going. Tell us your TCU story. How did you end up as a Horned Frog? What's the journey been like both before and since?
Well, I came here in 2019, and prior to coming here, I was the Associate Dean of Research and Graduate Studies at University of Texas at San Antonio. And to be honest with you, I was not looking to go anywhere. And if I were to go anywhere, it would have been the right place. And Fort Worth, Texas is where my wife was actually raised. And so over the years, I had been journeying through TCU, its grounds, and walking around for a while. And then when I saw the ad come out, I thought it was a great, wonderful opportunity to bring my wife home, but to also, and to have my kids be raised around their grandmother. But it was an excellent opportunity for me to continue my career in research and graduate studies at the institutional level, at an institution that I felt met the values that I wanted to live out during that time.
Fantastic. Well, it's certainly important. You mentioned the word values. We're a values-centered organization, something that I think is all too rare in higher education today, to a university that continues to live out its values since its founding days, which, for us was 152 years ago, and our commitment to things like excellence and integrity and community and engagement, right? We see that borne out every day here at TCU, and I see that in you as you perform your duties as a provost. So talk to us about a provost, right? Certainly, if you're inside higher ed, you have a pretty good sense for what a provost is or what a provost does, but outside looking in, many of our listeners probably don't really know what the role of the provost is and why it's so important to the academic mission.
Well, yes, that's a good thing. When I was in undergraduate, I had no idea that there was a provost. I didn't actually know what a provost did until I was an associate professor at a university working. And so the provost serves as the chief academic officer for an institution. So over the, making sure that we have the best curriculum, the best faculty, the best staff to support our students. Also, in most institutions, the provost is over the admissions process, and that may be where where most of our students first see TCU as we go out to recruit them from their high schools. And so, if you think of the academic mission of the institution, that's where the provost comes in to oversee everything that touches the academic mission of the institution.
Fantastic. And in your, in readying for the role, you've been here on campus. You've seen a lot of things, including most recently being a big part of and really a co-author of the all-new TCU Strategic Plan, Lead On, Values in Action. Can you talk to us about that process? Your role in helping to craft that alongside our community, and what excites you the most about that plan as we look ahead?
Well, just going back into my background, what I can say is that being a part of research and scholarship is what I can attribute to not just my success, but the success that I'm able to provide for my kids and the opportunities to provide for my children, and the ability to be able to take part of the strategic plan. I never lost track of what we're doing is going to impact the students today, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now. And so we're laying the track for where we're going to end up in the future. And so when we look at the strategic plan and what we the 4 pillars: research, scholarship, and creative activity, athletics, community engagement, and student-centered growth, I think it lays the track for where we're going towards the future, keeping students at the center and keeping their success in the center of everything that we do as an institution, which again was one of the reasons why I really chose to come to TCU, because at the time they always kept the student in the center, and our strategic plan also keeps the student in the center. And so going through the process, I'm gonna be truthful here. It was a long process. It was a lot of hours talking to a lot of people, losing a lot of sleep. But one thing I love about the strategic plan is that it's not built to be a plan that we just put in the shelf and then salute it and see it again in 5 years. This plan has metrics, it has benchmarks to ensure that we are following up on its success, carrying out the strategic plan. So I really love being involved in the process. I really love the opportunity to bring everybody to the table, whether they're from a STEM or non-STEM, science or humanities and fine arts, bringing everyone to the table, having students have a say-so, corporate partners have a say-so, our faculty, our staff have a say-so. So we brought everybody to the table to have their hands a part of this plan, because at the end of the day, we're all going to have to roll up our sleeves and get it done. But now that it's done, working every day to make sure that we hit every step of it, that we're achieving the strategic plan. But I'm already looking 10 years ahead at the success and where we're going to be. And that's what keeps me focused, that looking ahead 10 years where TCU is going to be. And it's going to be a great place.
Yeah, it's going to be a great place. It already is a great place, but what I love to see is, the level of ambition continue to rise here, and the breadth of that ambition. One of the things I'm most proud of in the strategic plan is not necessarily what it says, even though I think it's substantive and on point and bold and visionary in a lot of ways. It's more the how we got to the plan. I asked the team to run some analysis on how many people were involved. And when you look at both on-campus stakeholders and those beyond campus, including those from, employers in the private sector and alumni and parents, and even those from other peer aspirational institutions, over 10,000 people touch the plan in some way. And I think it just punctuates your point that, it's really our plan, and that we've done it together, and we're going to go together to see it effectuated.
Yes, and the vision is so bold, and it's what's needed. Oftentimes when people make plans, it's very incremental in what you're going to do. You almost would have gotten there without a strategic plan. But to have a bold strategic plan that makes you be excited about the future and where we're going, I think that's where what we have right here. And I'm very much looking forward to us, every day to come here to make sure that we hit those points, and we're on the ground running towards making sure that we achieve the strategic plan.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate that you're looking 5, and you even said 10 years ahead, which is important. When I'm looking 10 years ahead, a lot of times I'm thinking about our students and where they might go, and how they might build productive careers in the context of life, and the communities they will engage in, and how they'll have a scaled impact beyond themselves and make a difference as an educated citizen for whether it's right here in Fort Worth or anywhere beyond. Part of the way they're able to make that impact is because they're educated not just with the well-settled knowledge of the day, but maybe more importantly, the tools to create the knowledge for tomorrow. And sometimes that's bound up in research activities.
Yes.
Yeah. Talk to us about the student role in research here at TCU, maybe today, and how it might be expanded. Because a lot of people just think about research and they might think that's what the faculty do in the laboratory or the performance hall or wherever. But really, it's a very student-centered enterprise in many respects, right?
Yes. And so personally, when I look at my involvement in research over the years, whether it be from a top 10 research institution or a bottom 350 research institution, I've always been involved in having undergraduate students in particular, because we already know the graduate students take part, but having undergraduate students a part of the research endeavor and seeing what is done for the careers of those undergraduate students. They get hands-on experience with equipment that oftentimes costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not over $1 million. They get hands-on experience. They get cutting-edge access to cutting-edge technology. They get their names on papers. But when we think of research, we also have to think about not just the chemistry or biology laboratory. What we're also talking about with research is being in the field, being in the theater, being in the dance hall, pretty much the ability to be a part of any sort of experiential activity that shows that you're not just learning something out of a book or off of a video, but that you're able to apply whatever you learn. And that's what our employers want to see, that our students are able to apply what they learn, work as part of a team, work in a diversified environment to be able to think on their feet to critically evaluate what's thrown at them. So being involved in research or some sort of scholarship or creative activity allows them to live out what we're teaching them in the classroom or in the theater or in the dance hall. And I think that that's a lot of what our plans and strategic plans to have much, much more of that. But me personally, if I was not involved in the research laboratory in college, there's no way I would have been where I am now, and the connections that I made and being able to show that I can actually do the work, to be able to interview for a graduate program and be able to talk about what I was doing and to talk well about it because I actually did it. And the people interviewing me on the other side of that table can tell that I actually did it and knew what I was talking about, whether that's in science or in some sort of theater or business. To be able to talk about your experience as if you lived it every day gives employers the confidence that you could come in and be ready on day one. So for me, that's why research and scholarship and creative activity is so important to a comprehensive institution like us, because it shows the employer, the graduate school, the professional school, that our people are prepared on day one for whatever they want to do.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a better education,
yes.
And at a time when so many are calling into question the value of higher education or the return on investment in a degree. It's really the pathway, as you articulated. It's the pathway where we prepare students certainly to get their first job, day one upon graduation, but that lifelong skill set of curiosity, exploration, acquiring and analyzing data, reducing that to insights, and then motivating people to go with you on those. I mean, that's a transferable skill that allows our students to reinvent themselves at every step of their career. And it's almost like we're preparing them not to just get their first job, but to get their last job, and the job where they're going to have the widest aperture of influence and the ability to make the biggest decisions that'll hopefully positively impact as many people. And so it's all integrated, and it all works together to enhance the value and the return on investment in a high quality education like what we offer here at TCU. You talked about your pathway and how research unlocked the door of opportunity for you in your career. Talk to us a little bit about your work. One of the great things that I love about you, and there are many things I love about you, but you're still really active in research, and you don't have to be. You've got a million other things you can do as the chief academic officer, provost here, but you're still committed to your craft. What are you thinking about? What are you working on? What's exciting you the most about what you're discovering?
Well, so my research is I study the immune response and how to to activate the immune response in situations where an individual may be immune compromised. So they have a low immune response to anything, whether it be viral pathogens or bacterial pathogens or whatever. How do you get that person who's immune compromised to respond to an infection? And what I really am passionate about that is that, we have research that's shown that we can take an individual that's immune compromised and actually get them to have an immune response which protects them against different types of infections. And the reason why that's important is because we're all getting older. So I hope that this research may save my life one day. But also we have a lot of young people, neonates or others, who come into the world immune compromised. So how can we protect their young lives by being able to stimulate their immune response? So for me, that's just my research of what I do, but the ability to come in with an idea and to prove it right or to prove it wrong, to impact lives, drives me every day. And to see the spark in the lives of the staff in my laboratory, the students that I work with, keeps me going, being around. But one reason why I love working with undergraduate students is because they come so excited and so willing to do anything and everything, and they ask all these questions that sometimes I'm like, I never thought about that. But then fast forward 4, 5, 6 years later, when they're writing letters, just last week I had an ex-student of mine who now has a PhD. Now has their own lab, now is doing all that, and sending me a picture of them and their families. It's just a wonderful thing to know how you impact their lives. It's the best thing ever. This is the best job on earth.
Well, I think anybody listening to your passion and your sincerity, the sincerity in your voice, would kind of have to agree, and can take a somewhat misunderstood or understood concept about research, what it is, how fulfilling it is, how it can change the world and change lives along with it, is really pretty remarkable. So congratulations on that, and your position now to where you can foster that broadly across campus, which is really a strength of TCU's, is that we collaborate. Yes. We like to work together across disciplines, and I've seen the way you've led the deans in the various colleges here to have collective conversations and to dream a little bit about interdisciplinary collaborations. Can you walk us through that process and maybe give us some examples of how maybe different disciplines are coming together to create something that's bigger than their component parts?
Yes, for example, one of the things that we're trying to expand on campus is a footprint in artificial intelligence, machine learning, and high performance computing, and this digital culture that we have. And the people who are coming, one of the people who first reached out to me who wanted to lead this effort was actually the dean of the Adirond College of Liberal Arts. Wanted to bring together the School of Medicine, the College of Sciences and Engineering, the business school, just all these different places on what can we do together to work together to hire faculty on courses, so that we can bring the machinery and the minds to the table to work together in interdisciplinary manner on degree programs and courses and things such as that, because it permeates throughout all of our curriculum. And so what we're currently doing is we are establishing interdisciplinary programs where whether if you're in the Department of Mathematics or Computer Sciences or in business, that we can work together and have those courses that students can get the groundwork that they need to serve their career objectives. We're working with individual colleges. How can we build out the infrastructure in classrooms or the technology that we need that everybody can take advantage of? And this is just something that as we move forward, everybody's going to need, everybody's going to be able to take advantage of. And how can we pull together the resources so that we're not duplicative in what we do and that everyone can take advantage of this? And so I see it as key to the future of a university. And one of our biggest proponents of this is our College of Fine Arts, who uses the digital culture in their performances, in film studies, and all of this. And so actually the ones on campus with the highest technology is the fine arts.
Wow. So I love it. Like, here's an idea that may have been emergent out of the liberal arts, and then you throw in some business and some sciences in between, and then you cap it off with the fine arts, and you really get the best of TCU coming together around a collective area of research, which is informed by the marketplace, right?
Yes.
Kind of working backwards from what the needs of the world are, and how lucky are we to be able to sit right here in the Fort Worth, Dallas metro, where there are so many amazing companies and nonprofit organizations and other folks really coming together right in our own backyard to create the future, and how we operate the university at the intersection of academics and the community. It presents an opportunity that most universities will never have.
Yes, and I say, and we are truly the University of Fort Worth, Texas. We purposely, through the strategic plan, reached out to all the corporate entities within, and the hospitals and the corporations and mom and pop stores. We reached out to everybody. What do you need for your workforce to meet your workforce needs? And we purposely intend to keep them at the table as we do that. And there's really no other city that I can think of that in which works so well with a university, and that the university responds by making sure that we are meeting the needs of the city, and also the whole North Texas region, which is missing a lot of areas that we can fill that gap.
Yeah. Well, that definitely speaks to the town and gown relationship that we have, certainly between TCU and Fort Worth, but also the broader metro, North Texas, and beyond. It's just a great opportunity. Another great opportunity is for me to ask my very consistent and deliberate final question, which is: this is a podcast about innovation and thinking big and dreaming. And so what I want to know is, what's your biggest dream for the future of TCU?
Okay, I'm going to put this out there. So again, we think about our strategic plan, and our strategic plan, we take it year by year, but think it 10 years out. But my big dream for TCU is a top 50 institution. Need I say I want us to be a top 25 institution, AAU, premier research institution that also is known for excellence in everything we do. Whether it's, you name the major, the best students come to TCU. When students think about where do I want to go for a great quality education, that whether it be in dance, whether it be in engineering, whether it be in English, they think TCU, because everything we do is excellent, top notch, with the best professors, the best resources, the best everything, and a campus that cannot be beat. Quality, leading athletics. Every week we go into a championship game, leave from the library to go there and back to the library, because we see excellence everywhere that we're doing.
Yeah, well, I love it. It's a great dream. It's a bold dream. It's right on point with our values, at the excellence, right, and the way we engage our community, right, and all of the ways we think about coming together and focus on doing things with great integrity. So, well, certainly you're off to a strong start. We're excited to have you in your new role as provost. Thank you for demystifying what a provost is for some of our listeners, and maybe most importantly, thank you for investing in world-class faculty, outstanding loyal staff, and the most amazing students I can find anywhere in the country. It makes all the difference in how we progress this great institution. All right, that's it, everybody. Thanks for joining us today one more time. Thank you, Dr. Floyd Wormley, TCU's provost. With that, we'll catch you next time, and go Frogs.
Go Frogs.
Special thanks to our student producer, Jackson James, and George Kamar, and the entire TCU team for supporting our show. Go Frogs!